Hi, I'm Andrew. In this video, I'll be covering what coaching is as a technique for managers. I'll highlight the key features of management coaching and start to talk about how a manager finds the right balance between being the boss and being patient and supportive, and how they might do that in a consistent way. I'll then talk about motivation in the workplace and what really seems to motivate colleagues. So, what does coaching in management involve? First of all, it isn't telling people what to do. It's about raising their understanding and awareness. Fundamentally, as a technique, coaching is the art of asking great questions. What has to come before a great answer? Great question. As a technique, coaching looks like a list of great questions in a great order. But it's not just about asking great questions. It's also active listening. We need to demonstrate to the person that we're listening to that we're actually listening. And to do that, we need to reflect back our understanding of what they just said. This gives them evidence that they've been listened to. As managers, we need to show that we care, that we're supportive. However, we can get the balance wrong. If we're too supportive and too caring and too patient, we start to run out of time. We can even start to run out of energy and become an agony aunt and have no time to do anything else. So we need to be somewhat detached. It's quite possible that we take on people's emotions. If somebody is feeling negative, maybe we start to feel negative too. If somebody's feeling a little bit down, we start to feel a little bit down too. Therefore, we need to remain somewhat detached. But if you're too detached, you look cold. You look like you don't care. You're not being supportive. If we're too patient and supportive, there's a danger of being an agony aunt. We're all looking for that place in the middle that's supportive, it's patient, but it's also somewhat detached. Now that's unique for everybody. What coaching and mentoring will do for you is help you to find that place for yourself. We also need to create great relationships at work, great rapport with our colleagues. We also need to give feedback, positive feedback and negative feedback. You may have experienced how much easier it is to give positive feedback than negative feedback. You may have experienced some angst giving negative feedback. Coaching enables feedback to happen in a much more natural way. It's the conversation. The giving and receiving of feedback is much easier. In fact, you will start to drop the differentiation between negative and positive. Feedback is feedback, and all feedback is good. As managers, we want to introduce a degree of consistency in the way we speak to and relate with our colleagues. However, our colleagues have different personalities. They may feel differently on different days. We may feel differently on different days. So our process of coaching needs to be flexible and dynamic. It needs to create an ongoing process of evaluation and review that fine-tunes the skills required to continually enhance performance for the organisation. You may have experienced colleagues committing to take actions for you, but then not taking those actions. And sometimes you've had to take those actions, maybe in your own time, in the evenings or the weekend. Why does that happen? Well, it's probably to do with workload and time pressures. And quite simply, your actions have not been prioritised. As a manager using a coaching and mentoring process with its evaluation and review, you'll become the manager that notices. And it becomes much easier for the colleague to prioritise the actions they've committed to you. And finally, some skills are difficult to learn in a classroom, in a training environment. They're skills that need to be learned through experience, interpersonal skills, how to cope with stressful situations. Coaching can be used outside of the classroom to enhance those skills that are difficult to learn in a classroom. There are many factors that contribute to people's motivation at work. Many studies suggest consistently that the top 3 motivators are actually all feelings. Feelings of doing meaningful work for which you're valued and appreciated. Feelings of inclusion and engagement, i.e. not being kept in the dark. And feelings of being supported when going through tough times. Coaching and mentoring harnesses these motivational factors. In a conversation, there's ample opportunity to demonstrate how much you value and appreciate someone's work. It's a very inclusive process. And as you get to know somebody and what they see as tough times, it provides an opportunity for you to show that you are supporting them. And let's not forget, coaching and mentoring is free. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't cost a lot of IT investment or infrastructure. It just requires consistent communication. However, many organisations don't seem to be focusing on these motivational factors. In fact, in some research conducted by the Institute of Leadership and Management, the Trust Survey, 50% of all those interviewed said their organisation was far more interested in focusing on financial goals than they were focusing on people goals. In further research conducted by the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, it was discovered that the main reason people gave for leaving their job was because of their relationship with their direct manager. When asked what was wrong in that relationship, they answered, "I did not feel valued and appreciated, I did not feel included, and I did not feel I was getting any support when I was going through tough times." These are all the motivational factors that we can harness in a coaching and mentoring technique. In this video, I covered what coaching is as a technique for managers. I highlighted the key features of management coaching and started to talk about how a manager finds the right balance between being the boss and being patient and supportive, and how they might do that in a consistent way. I then talked about motivation in the workplace and what really seems to motivate colleagues. In the next video, we'll look at the psychology of coaching and why it has such a powerful impact on people's motivation, behaviour and attitude.